All right, guys. Weekly wrap up, Sunday, August 26th, 2018. I'm going to be going over the pairs that forecasted last week to trade either over the course of the week or over the course of Monday that could possibly extend into later through the week, and then the pairs that I was looking to trade at the open that could have possibly extended through Monday or possibly later in the week, or maybe were just scalps at the open. Okay. Now, just a little disclaimer. There, I'm right now. I'm not covering nearly all of the trades that I took over the course of this last week. Okay, I'm only covering the trades that I forecasted before the week started. All right, those being pairs that I was looking to trade over the course of the week, over the course of the first day of the week, Monday, and over the course of possibly the first few hours at the open. All right. So I'm only covering those trades that I forecasted. There's a ton of other trades I took over the course of the week, but I'm actually thinking about doing a daily forecast and wrap up. I don't have the time, honestly, to do that every week, but I'm thinking like every once in a while I might take like every day of the week to literally like forecast all my trades for the upcoming day and then wrap up like each day, kind of show like my all my trades that I take over the course of the week. But right now I'm just doing it kind of like at the start of the week, a forecast, and then at the end of the week I'm wrapping up only what was forecast. All right. So first pair forecast was pound New Zealand, and this was one of two pairs that were forecast for over the course of the week. Over the course of the week, we were wanting to sell high around the 1.93 level, which is also obviously a sweet spot, but is just beyond that weekly pivot. Okay, and as you can see, it was a very choppy week, as it has been for pound Kiwi, because it's stuck in this range. But as you can see, selling the highs would have been and was very profitable. So let me just show a couple instances. All right, so right here, this was a trigger. You've got the wave trend and the APB triggering a short trade. All right, so you'd enter here. Okay, which does kind of seem to be at the bottom of the range, but you know you're getting in at the right time. All right, and over the course of this 4 hour, that's about 25 or so pips to make. All right, that could have just been a quick scalp, or if not, maybe it ended up in a scratch or a +1 or anyway. Another short opportunity. Let's see. Maybe after this is a super doji-ish candle. What's actually interesting about this is if you throw on the volatility, you can see the volatility was totally dead here. Like this is a case where I would not have taken that trade, not only because the candle is so doji-ish, but I mean wave trend is flat as well, but the volatility is below the line. It's below this red line. That means you do not want to be trading when it's below that line, and it was below it for a good amount of time up until here, which is where you've got this trigger. Obviously, you've got the APB plus the wave trend. You take that trade here, place the stop here. Obviously, lots of pips to be made. All right, so yeah, pound New Zealand was great this week. Yes, it was choppy, but sometimes, I mean, you can even think of, even if you were just really aggressively selling those highs, like each time. Imagine if you shorted it each time it touched that pivot, that yellow line. All right, or that sweet spot. Okay. Let's move on. The other pair we were looking to sell high over the course of the week was gold euro. We were actually looking to buy this pair. Well, we bought this pair at the open. All right. Bought this pair at the open, but we're looking to sell the highs over the course of the week. All right. Or we're looking, like Okay, so the level we were looking at the 1040 to 1045 area to sell off of. All right, so bought it open. As you can see, very nice buy here. Touch that weekly pivot right in that turncoat resistance area, right between that 1040 and 1045 as expected. Sold off the high there and just rode it, you know. Put that stop either here or even here, and just rode that. There was no reason to get out. There really was not. This could have possibly faked some of you out, but HMA was bearish that whole trip. All right, ton of pips there. This was a killer trade, guys. Killed it this week just on this trade alone. And the next trade that we're about to pull up. All right, so the next one was this was over the course of Monday. The dollar index looking to sell the high. All right, but you know, over the course of Monday. But if it's going in your direction, it very is likely to extend into the extend throughout the week, which the dollar index did. All right, so we were looking to sell the high at the 96.2 to 96.3 area. All right, over the course of Monday, possibly extend that trade in further into the week, which you can see it touched that weekly pivot right between that 96.2 and 96.3 is right about here. So of course between those two, there's that weekly pivot. Take that sell right here, nice tight stop. All right, and just ride that. No reason to get out of that until maybe here. Either right here after the close of that bull body, or not until the close of this bear, or sorry, close of that bull candle here. This is really the ideal close right here. Okay, well, I mean, you know what I mean. Not ideal, but that's where most of you, I'm sure most of you closed. That's where I closed, and worked out pretty good. All right. Yeah, those two trades were the big winners this week. We also got GC to sell the high off of on Monday. Okay, GC. All right, GC. Not as winning of a trade, right? Well, you know what? Actually, no. This was still a winning trade, but just not as good, because we were looking to sell the high at the 1.68 level. And by the way, guys, I'm referencing all these levels. You guys can actually go back and like I'm looking at my notes right now for all the specific levels that I forecasted. There's a lot of levels. It's hard to remember. I have to have them all written down. They're all right here. But you guys can actually go back and watch the forecast videos if you want, so you can see the specific levels that were mentioned for each of the symbols. And for GC, we were looking to, it was forecasted to sell the highs around the 1.68 level. Okay. Even if over the course of Monday it doesn't, it doesn't get there, if that extends later into the week, still take those normal triggers. All right, so we've got it reached 1.68. Okay, and had a sell trigger around here. Never hit that stop beyond that 3-level swing. Okay, very nice. Moving on, we've got UC. UC, we were looking to sell the highs off 1.31. This was a sniper trade right here. This was great. Okay, so you get a sell trigger here. All right, take that short here. Place the stop either beyond these highs or beyond the pivot or beyond the 1.31 sweet spot. All right. No reason to get out of that until here. All right. So there's your first take. All right, nice, good range there. Next, and by the way, I mean, there's no reason not to take these counter trend moves. No reason not to take this long trade. But I'm only referring to the moves that were forecast. All right, this is one of those moves that I took in midweek, but it doesn't have to do with anything I forecasted in the forecast. All right, I'm only referring to levels that were forecast. All right, guys. So we were looking to sell off of 1.31. That sweet spot and that weekly pivot, it comes up, just touches that, just a perfect entry. All right, well, I mean, if you set a limit there, okay, I used to set limits, but I just prefer to jump into the trade once it's triggered, and it was triggered at the open of this candle. All right, we've got bear, bearish, bearish, take that trade there, set that stop there, and eat off of that. That's a nice big bar there. All right. No reason really to get out as of now, but if you're like me and you like closing your trades before the week is over, then yeah, with a close there. But I mean, I know a lot of you probably still have that trade open. All right. And then the last one I'm going to mention in this video before we get to the next one is dollar peso. We were looking to on the 4-hour sell at the open, but we were also looking to sell off of the 19 level. All right. Okay, so selling at the open didn't work out too well. All right, but we were anticipating it to get up to that 19 level. So of course you're going to want to set your stop pretty wide. All right, obviously beyond the weekly pivot, but very likely beyond beyond this mid pivot or even beyond this resistance. Okay. Now, completely understandable if a lot of you wouldn't want to take that sell at the open and have such a weird risk to reward kind of trade, with such a wide stop. So a lot of you, I'm sure, just waited until it retraced at a 19 as anticipated and then took the sell, which is a totally great thing to do. So went up, touched that weekly pivot beyond the 19 level, got that sell trigger, and yeah, didn't really need to get out until around here. Okay. Yeah, really nice trade there. Dealt with some chop, but did just as forecast, guys. We killed it this week. That was another winner. Do we have time to get to the next one? I guess we have a couple minutes. All right, so pairs we were looking to buy low. We've got AJ, which was also at market open, looking to buy at market open, but also anticipated maybe pulling back a little bit and buying low. All right. So bought it open. Did not hit stop. Stop was here. All right. Pulls back a little bit with these two bear bars. Turns bullish, although it's a really tiny bar. So can understand not wanting to enter quite yet. With this little bar, volatility is on the decline and below the red line. All right. Then you get this nice bull bar. Volatility is still below the line, but sloping upward. Plus such a big bar, I can understand. I entered here, So it doesn't always matter about the line. Sometimes it just matters about the color and the slope of the volatility. All right. Oops, didn't mean to hit that. All right, so enter here. Still never touches that stop, and pips to be made. Gets up to that resistance, that weekly resistance pivot. All right, before stopping for a little bit. All right, and this was also a good, another good one. All right, the level for that was 80.5. that we were looking, but it doesn't matter. It didn't quite get down to it, but still a great buy.